the meeting to allow. And we'll do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Miller?
Yes.
Hughes? Wanick? Yes. And Wilkinson is absent.
The June 2015 regular meeting minutes will be presented for consideration. I move to approve. Ted, motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded. This is to approve the June 2015 regular meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Wanick? Yes. Miller? Hughes? Motion carried.
The treasurer's report for June 2015 will be presented.
We are 75%. We are 75% of our way through the fiscal year. There was nothing unusual that happened in June. I really don't have anything in particular to report on this month. Is there any questions that you may have?
Motion by Ted,
I'll second.
second by Stephanie. Any discussion? Roll call.
Miller?
Yes.
Hughes? Wanick? Yes. Motion carried.
Item number 5, consideration and possible action for the special designated liquor license for the Neely Fire Department for the September dance. We just need a motion and a second to approve it.
There's nothing different from last year with the security or how it was going to be fenced off. Everything is the same for the request as done in the past.
I'll make the motion to approve the special liquor license.
Motion? Second by Leonard. All in favor?
Hughes?
Yes.
Wanick?
Yes.
And Miller? Motion carried.
Item number 6, consideration and possible action to adopt ordinances to annex areas 1 and 5 as recommended by the Neely Planning Commission. Ordinance 578, ordinance 579 for the third reading of the annexation will be held. Ordinance 578 considers area 1 with annexing property adjacent to the city limits to the west. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance 578.
I'll make that motion to adopt ordinance 578.
Ted, made a motion.
I'll second.
Stephanie seconded. This is the,
This is an ordinance of the city of Neely, Antelope County, Nebraska, making findings in regard to certain property adjacent to the city, annexing said property to the city, providing an incentive rate, and repealing all ordinances in conflict.
we have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 578. Roll call.
Hughes?
Yes.
Wanick?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Ordinance 579 considers area 5 with annexing property adjacent to the city limits to the east. I need a motion to adopt ordinance 579 on third reading.
I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance 579.
Ted, a motion, second.
I'll make the motion, or second it.
Stephanie,
This is an ordinance of the city of Neely, Randall County, Nebraska, making findings in regard to certain property adjacent to the city, annexing such property to the city, providing an effective date, and repealing all ordinances.
we have a motion to adopt ordinance 579 on third reading. Roll call.
Wong,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yep.
Miller.
Declare ordinance 579 as adopted and approved on third and final reading. Item number 7, consideration and possible action for fireworks ordinance will be held. And depending on what the council would like to do, we have a request from some folks that would like, I think probably some times established for fireworks use. And I'm not sure that we have one on the books now.
I don't think we have an ordinance, I think it's a policy that's just been shared out of courtesy for residents.
I don't believe we have an ordinance that says these times. It's just a policy out of courtesy for residents and, you know, different schedules, lifestyle schedules.
Well, we follow state statute in regard to fireworks sale and fireworks operation. So the city councils in the past have always just followed the state statute rather than have an individual ordinance of the city. You can make it more restrictive if you want to, but the councils in the past have not done that.
We have somebody here that would like to do it.
All I was pretty much asking is, 10 o'clock on weeknights, other than the 3rd and the 4th, because my husband and I have both been overseas, and to wake up at, 10:30 to someone lighting off ordinance, it sounds like something you wake to up overseas is unpleasant, and not only that, people have children and dogs that, pets that don't like, the fireworks, and, going a week before, well, like, almost 2 weeks before people start lighting them off, and it's kids. It's not adults out there, it's kids that are out of school and, are up late, and so that's.
Yeah, I didn't notice, and I paid attention this year because we started shooting them as things went on into the week, and I didn't notice anybody shooting before. I thought, what's, Mike?
Yes.
You know about how many days ahead of the 4th is it?
The state law allows fireworks to be sold 2 times during the year. One is June 25th to July 4th, and the other one's around New Year's. And then as far as that goes, there's no other guidance on the state law as far as discharging them, as long as it's not, if it felt like really late hours, you could run under disturbing the peace. I do know, like, Norfolk has an ordinance that allows permissible fireworks may be discharged, exploded, or used in the city from June 25th through July 4th of each year, provided that on such days the discharge and explosion of fireworks shall be permitted during the following times: June 25th through July 3rd, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., July 4th, 8 a.m. to midnight. The discharge or explosion of fireworks in the city on dates or times other than set forth in this section or otherwise as allowed by this article should constitute an offense unless prior proof of the discharge has been acquired. And those dates and times is what we have always followed. It just isn't in an ordinance. That's what we've always followed. If there's something
So as
after
far as
11 o'clock,
The
we go looking
statutes,
for
when they
it.
start selling them up here, then people start shooting them up here.
Yeah, so it's June 25th to July 4th is when they're
Okay,
allowed to be sold, and that's when they're mainly used.
okay.
I would think that 10 o'clock, except for July 4th, would be a more reasonable time than that.
My worry is that it doesn't get dark until 9:30, is this his time?
Yep. we do.
It
That's-
doesn't even get dark till 9:30. So, being 10.
That's why a lot of the cities go to 11, because it's not dark enough for your nighttime. A lot of times they're still usable light at 9:30, 9:45, so that's why those that do have it cutoffs, it's always
On
11
this,
o'clock.
on this list here, it's looking like most of the towns around are 11. Great. Two are 10.
Not city, for the folks that
Okay.
don't have it, read it.
So Albion's times, I'm talking, before July 4th, is 7 AM till 11 PM. Battle Creek, allowed until 11 PM. Creighton, 8 AM till 11 PM. Elgin, oh, till 10, I'm sorry. Creighton is 8 AM till 10 PM. Elgin is allowed until 11 PM. O'Neill is until 10 PM. Plainview, it looks like 8 AM till 11 PM, and Tilden, 8 AM till 11 PM. And most of the towns, I think every town except for Elgin allows discharge until 12 on the 4th of July.
So Leonard's thoughts are a little earlier at 10, Stephanie's maybe 11 because of the light and dark. So what do you think?
My husband works and gets up early, and so, you know, when you hear things that, you know, aren't the pretty ones, they more sound like a mortar shell going off at 10:30, and he wakes up in a panic, and then obviously he gets his bearings and he's okay. But your anxiety level doesn't go down right away. Like, I think 10 or 10:30 is more reasonable. 11 is pretty late on weeknights when people have to work.
Okay. Any other,
Hey, Joe,
yes, Lance?
I know Neely's not Lincoln, but Lincoln only sells them and is allowed to shoot them off on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Only one day,
Yeah.
so that's an option also.
Yeah, it hurt my soul to do that, it is an option. And I can
And I
understand
want
too
people
what
to
you're
enjoy their
saying.
fireworks and to have fun.
Yeah.
It's just mainly on weeknights that,
Yeah.
other than the 4th, that,
What I kind of paid attention to this year, it seemed like there was one place in particular that shot them later than 10. I thought most of the people did quit shooting by 10 o'clock.
no, it was more like 11
Maybe on, and see,
11
on our
on.
end of town, that's
Yeah.
where it was. But there was somebody shooting them later, I mean, big stuff.
yeah. I went and found some of them at 10:55 after waking up unpleasantly. They're a bunch of kids and they're very respectful and,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, they weren't lighting off the nice pretty ones that go, you know, it was mortar shells.
Yeah. Well, maybe there could be some, I don't know, hey, establish some to do one kind and not another one after 10. But how do you establish how
Yeah.
light something? Yes,
They're
Lynn?
finding their homes, they didn't seem to start until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that's what
There's a lot
Stephanie's
of
saying,
young-
that
there's a lot of
darkness.
young families that live near Pioneer Homes.
Yeah.
And they didn't start until 10.
Yeah. Did anybody notice them after 11? Did any?
Yes, there was a few nights where they were after, more like towards 12, and it wasn't like a whole bunch, it was only like one or two.
Okay.
But yes, there were people that left them off.
So what, can we, do we have to make a statute, can we just make a,
No, that'd be a ordinance.
gotta be a,
We can't, or no ordinance and follow along with what the state says.
What you got, what you want identity, and the ordinance, the date, time.
does the state have a time limit, they just have when you can sell them and when you can't?
State is pretty much wide open as far as.
Times, to blow them off.
Well,
Mike, on average, how many complaints do you get, or what are you hearing at the police department?
Every year is different. Some years there's very few complaints, some years there's several complaints. This year there was a few complaints when after 11 there was a few and they were looked into, and some people were told to stop or they could get cited and they were compliant.
What if we split the difference in 10:30 and draw something up to that effect to kind of shut it down? That's yes, Lon.
If you go to 11 o'clock, if it becomes a problem, you could always use the thought of, if you don't work with it at 11, we could make it again.
Well, and I think probably if 10:30 isn't a decent time, and that's when the news is over,
Yeah.
people start thinking about bed,
Yeah.
the ones that aren't in bed by 9.
Well, I'd make a motion to make an ordinance to stop at 10:30.
Okay, Leonard made a motion to stop at 10:30, except for the 4th, and that'd be,
What about if it's just weekdays? Something.
That's what I'm mainly asking for is weekdays. At
I don't know.
a time on weekdays.
okay? It's all right, you can.
I guess I can look at the other towns around and I'm saying,
That's all right, that's why you're on this board. Council to decide that.
But we don't do this with motion, we should put the ordinance together. But I need to know, we don't do that with motion. No.
Do we have to authorize the city attorney to prepare a draft?
That's correct.
Okay,
Well, I think 10:30 on weeknights would be okay, I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be 11.
okay, well, that's kind of what you're asking for. Well, from what I can remember hearing, that would kind of reason out with what was happening, that people were starting to back off after 10, actually.
Yeah.
And 4th of July, I think,
Midnight, okay, for what?
because there's a lot of them shot after the display up there.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem you have with that.
so weeknights that fall between June 25th and July 4th would be 10:30. Is that right? And then the weekend would be till 11. And the 4th of July is 12.
How does that sound?
That,
And would it be proactive for us to maybe publish something next year
Oh,
at
yes.
the 4th,
Oh, yes.
reminding the public?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that to let them know.
the kids that I talked to, I mean, they were very aware, they're like, hey, we have 7
Yeah.
more minutes.
I don't know that morning's ever an issue, but these other towns do set a time in the morning. Do we want to say an 8 o'clock start? Or since we're setting the evening start?
We have to get our
Or end
police chief
time.
up to enforcement.
I don't know if the issue's been so much in the morning. I didn't notice much going on.
But it's those mortar shells.
But while we're while we're,
That's enough.
yeah. Also, would we make the bombs that well, I call bombs, that the Young Men's Club sets off with their pancake feet, we make those exempt, then maybe, right?
I don't think they're.
Wake everybody up to July.
I think they left.
Oh, they do?
They did, the big sounders were in park this year.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we need a starting time and stopping time. But we also need to have a section for, the Young Men's Club. Because they're shooting off fireworks after 10:30. So if you want to shoot fireworks after 10:30, you go on the Young Men's Club.
Well, I don't think
They
they
don't
shoot
shoot.
any till the 4th.
Just on the floor, yeah.
Yeah, so
Fourth's
that
allowed
would be
till
okay
midnight.
on that one. If they're done by 11, then they're 10:30.
Well, I think it's going to be 10 o'clock, I think, until 10 o'clock, until they're not start shooting off fireworks.
Sure. Okay,
I sleep
so 10 o'clock start, 10:30 on the weekends,
weekdays.
or weekdays, 11 o'clock on the weekend days, and 12 o'clock on the 4th. Danny?
I assume these fireworks stands have to have permits to sell. Why don't you just pass out the ordinance in large letters and everything that people can read? make them post them on the firework stands.
And then take care of the ones that are buying them here. I think in the paper, I think we need to let people know, it's just good policy. Okay. We will table this.
Motion to prepare the ordinance.
Motion to authorize the secretary to consider fireworks ordinance.
I'll make that motion.
Well, Leonard did make a
Oh,
motion first.
yeah.
Are you willing to make that same motion, Leonard?
Then I'll second.
David, I need to start shooting until like 12,
Thank you.
1 o'clock in the morning. I think he got his at the construction site.
Oh, roll call, I'm sorry.
Juan,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yeah.
and Miller.
Yeah.
Motion carried.
Item, excuse me, item number 8, interlocal agreement between the City of Neely and the Antelope County Library Association will be presented for renewal. And we have an agreement approved by the county supervisors.
We do not have an agreement. It was on discussion this morning, but we don't have a revised copy yet, as I'm sure they're still working on that, so we're gonna table that
Table
to
it.
August.
Item number 9, a public hearing will be held for Citizens Advisory Review Committee to present semi-annual report on LB 840.
There's a microphone there if you'd like to use it for your recording and stuff too. That one's on the board, so.
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Amanda. Is it working? No. Okay. Oh, okay, there you go.
Hi, I'm Amanda McGowan, and I am on the Citizens Advisory Review Committee. I don't know, did you guys have your minutes? No? Okay.
You can present this.
Okay. We met on June 4th. There was 3 of us there out of the 5. And the first thing that we did was approve February 2014 minutes. And I don't know how familiar you guys are with Citizens Advisory Review Committee, but my first question that night was about why we hadn't met for 15 months. And Greg had said, there were some calendar conflicts, and so we've already set up our next meeting, so hopefully we stay on track with that this year. And I'll just kind of read number 5 to you because it's kind of a bulk. Okay. A discussion of the LB 840 financial report was held. Greg explained the role of CRC was to act as an oversight committee for the use of the city sales tax funds for economic development. The CRC's major role is to ensure that expenditures and loans follow the guidelines set forward in the Neely Economic Development Plan. Township asked if there was any questions about the plan, and no committee member had questions. He then asked if there's questions about the financial report, and that's when I asked about the 6 months. Then that's when we decided to schedule a meeting so we stay on track for this year. And then during his report, he said that there were 21 serious loan inquiries into the LB 840 into sales tax loans. And then later he presented, that we've had 1 successful loan go through at that time, and that there was 2 other businesses who had inquiries. And so then I had asked why there was so many interest but not so many people applying. And he said, he talked about how the loan process is kind of in depth and a lot of people didn't really want to open their books if they've already been here. Or, maybe they weren't that serious once they started thinking about all the work that goes into a business. And that reminded me of a couple of years ago, REAP put on a small business program, which some of the was there. And I don't have a business anymore, but I thought it was an excellent program and really helped you figure out what you need to have a business and helped you write that business plan. So I'd asked if there was any more programs through REAP that the Economic Development Office could be offering to some of these other businesses who may qualify for funding, but just don't have those steps in place yet. So he was gonna look into more of those. Let's see. At one point, we were asked for volunteer, and they found out I would be here, so here I am.
Thank you.
Yeah, then I guess I don't really have anything else from that. I just really hope that, with all the loans going through and the changes that the city's making, that maybe this committee or group could be utilized a little more to help. It says in here we're a watchdog, so I think it'd be helpful if we did meet at least the 6 months, if not more, since that is an option. So, guys, any questions for me?
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, there's no more questions, or anybody has any questions, we'll move along. Yes, we do.
Yes, we should.
Yeah, we have a motion.
Make a motion to accept, approve and accept the citizen advisory.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Stephanie? We are approving the LBA 40 semi-annual report. Any discussion? Roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Hughes, and Wallen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 10, consideration possible action for a sewer line. I'll give you a little bit of history. A long time ago, there was a sewer line placed by the businesses along the back alley, and everybody joined together using those lines. I looked up a term called easement, and over the years, the people using roads, sewer lines, utilities, they have a right to maintain those usages. So Jim may have a better explanation, but for my point in this, those easements were established by and for the city a long time ago. It could have been 80 or 90 years ago. So that easement by the city and that cooperation to provide those services still stands today. So as best as I can present from the city's side is the sewer lines have an easement to be maintained and run along their path. And in regard to that, the matter between Karen and Lyle Juracek in regard to the sewer line, since that is an easement issue from the city, we're going to discuss or have discussed by that, but I don't think there's any continuing effort for the city except to present the fact that there is easements that are current and should stand for their protection. So what I need is a motion to, if you feel like that's a consideration you would want to make, a motion to end our participation in this issue. Makes sense.
It was reversed, then it was reversed back to the original
The easements by the city were made a long time ago, so they stand today based on what the city has done in the past. And what we need to do is not be involved in a dispute between two parties.
And then if they have an issue, they would settle out in civil court.
That's right.
And would we